I am now,
Thanks.
since we haven't actually started the meeting yet. I'll give it a few more minutes. Lots of people told me they weren't going to make it today, so it could be a little smaller crew today.
James, I saw you in the bus the other day. It was great. Good to see stuff moving around.
Yeah, we're excited to get the kids back, and I think middle school will be starting here shortly, so.
Good.
Last night, the LSEA ratified an agreement that we have made to start middle school on the 22nd of March, and high school will start the 19th of April. So that's a done deal.
And Cavallero is part of that April.
We will have all of our students who want to be back in schools by mid-April.
All right. Is Cav part of that April timeframe?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, Cavan High School on the 19th, and both middle schools on the 22nd. All right, we ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. I want to remind everybody that I am recording the meeting. So any gestures that you make, please do that with your camera off. I'm going to share my screen, and James is going to do the pledge and the four-way test with us today. Our well-oiled machine of the four-way test and the pledge. Anyway, James, you got us.
Thank you, sir. And if everybody would mute, please. And join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now if everybody will unmute as we do the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First.
Is it the truth?
Second.
Is
it fair to all concerned?
Third.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth.
Is it
Beneficial to all concerned?
Fifth.
Bacon!
Was
it fun?
Our
Section.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
That was actually, the four-way test was actually kind of in sync, and I think I know what the problem is. Normally, it's Vallow. He's got a 7-second delay.
Yeah.
He?
We have to,
He's not
we
here
have to
today.
do that on purpose,
He's not
though.
here today. So I didn't hear Chris Vallow like 7 seconds later going, "Is it the truth?"
No,
that
it's
rate-
just him waking up.
Yeah, exactly. I don't. Maybe he's got a filter. I have no idea. Eileen, could you share a thought for the day with us, please?
I would love to, Mr. President. The thought of the day comes from one of my favorite authors, Unknown. And it says, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth.
Huh.
I'm
Do
letting
you need me to read that again?
No.
I love it.
This is good educational practice. I'm pausing for reflection.
I think I just heard
Everybody's making
Sam.
their own meaning of it.
Liz, does it work the other way around too?
What?
Does it work the other way around too, that your value doesn't increase just because everybody thinks it's high?
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pausing. I don't think that was the intention of the quote, but thanks,
don't
Dawn,
know.
for that moment of thought.
I don't know, Don, but we're all going to come over to your house and get in the lotus position and meditate. I think that's what we ought to do. That'll help my day. Okay. I've reminded everybody that we're recording. We have I think one guest today, and that's Marty Pease you're from the Lacana Rotary Club, but you're IPA president.
Hi, Marty. Good morning. Correct.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, and we look forward.
Yeah.
She's our speaker today, and we look forward to your report on IPA. I don't see Brian today. Does Brian make it? Brian Ruiz?
I haven't seen him so far.
Okay. Birthdays. Tracy DeLorme, 26 again on Monday. Happy birthday, Tracy. Chris Jacobson will have a birthday on the 22nd. All right. Happy birthday, Chris. And then the twins, Larry Saint and John Spencer, both born on the 25th. I don't see, is Larry here?
I don't think so.
Or John? Oh, well, that's too bad. Well, they're probably doing twin things. They're probably, they're probably going horseback riding or sailing or playing golf, something like that. Eileen, did you have your hand up?
I did. Can I pay $5 to have Sammy sing to everybody?
Or at least to Tracy.
Well, we can do it
Yeah.
again.
I think that's a great idea. You know what? I'll kick in $5 too. Anybody else want to kick in $5?
Surprise,
Here,
Sammy.
I'll kick in 5.
You're muted,
Awesome.
honey. You're muted. You're muted.
I'll pick in 5.
I got 5.
I'm so glad I heard my name. I was just at the door to get some more coffee, and I'm like, I heard Sammy, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm singing happy birthday to all my March birthday babies.
Yeah, and you know what? I think we just probably raised about $100 based on donations for that. So I'm glad,
No
Juan,
pressure.
that you're singing because you have the most awesome voice I've ever heard. And
Well, I probably think there's some people that have amazing voices in here, but they're just a little bit more shy than I am. So
well, that's
Sure.
not me on either
we're
count.
gonna have to find out who they are.
Yeah.
Ready, guys?
But two, I'm glad you unmuted before you started singing, because that would have been, it had to have been a do-over. Go ahead.
Or I could always pretend that I'm muted and then just.
Yeah.
So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear March babies. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
You're welcome.
What's Dave got planned for you, Tracy?
Funny story. He's going out of town today for the whole weekend.
So the best birthday present ever.
Best birthday ever.
All right, Rotary anniversaries. We've got Dave Leduc. He's on 3/12. He's got 1 year. Sam Lowe on the 13th, 8 years. And Lauren Hole, I mentioned this last week, but it bears repeating every time. On the 15th, 54 years in Rotary.
Woohoo!
Congratulations, Lauren.
I don't think he's on, is he?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
Is he? Good.
Yeah, he just went like this.
Yeah.
It was awesome. All right, Gary, Secretary's report.
Oh, I knew I had a report someplace. Here we go. Just a reminder about the board meeting that is coming up shortly on the 11th. The other thing is just to let the club members know, we are signing a letter on our club letterhead in support of the city's request for $2.1 million capital requests for the Festival Street and North Cove Park completion for phase 3 for the transformational Civic Center project. We are joining a lot of the other service clubs and organizations in support of the downtown area. So just wanted to let everyone know that we're doing that. That's it.
Great, thanks, Gary. And Chris isn't here today. He had an appointment this morning, but he wanted me to assure everybody that we are financially sound. But if you really want a comprehensive picture of our financial situation, then that's where you would get that at the board meeting, which is, of course, Thursday, the 11th. If you want to attend, you're always welcome. It's the same link as our regular Rotary Club meeting link. My report, I don't really have much to say other than I am getting my first vaccination shot today. Raise your hand if you've gotten at least your first shot so far. Lauren would have his hand raised. Well, obviously, President Biden urged all the governors in the United States to put teachers and educators at the front of the line. And so I was able to get an appointment like the very same day. It was pretty amazing. So I'm on at 11:30 today. Pretty happy about that. That's not really my report. Oh, I just want to remind you that Monday is.
Which shot are you getting, Ken?
You know, I don't know. It's the 2-shot one though, so it's either Moderna or Pfizer. So it's one of those two because it's a 2-shot deal. So other than that, I don't know. I'll take anything I can get.
That was my feeling. I got the Moderna. I got both shots. Had a reaction on the second one, a little bit of a fever, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, my brother
no
said the same
reaction.
thing. Let's see, where are we here? Oh, I wanted to remind everybody that Arlington is having its blood drive on Monday if you're interested in doing that at all. And Angie, do you want to talk about what you sent yesterday about the princesses and heroes at Lundin? I think it's tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or is it next Saturday?
Tomorrow morning. Let me pull it up on Facebook really quick. But yeah, just a request came out on one of the Facebook community pages. We've got a local family with a mom who's battling cancer. She's in hospice care right now. And just as a show of support, they're trying to get people to show up at Lundin Park tomorrow morning, socially distanced, masks and whatnot, but just to be standing around in the park loop to kind of wave and show support as the family does a drive-by. And since they were asking for heroes, princesses, superheroes, I'm like, well, this might be a really good place for our Rotary Vikings to make an appearance. So
yes, Viking heroes.
Yeah.
And I know that well, Karen Reed, who's an awesome, outstanding teacher at our Early Learning Center preschool, she is kind of the organizer of this. Yes. And she's absolutely wonderful person. And I know that she's got the Lake Stevens High School football team going to be dressed up as superheroes there. They did that, I think, a year ago or 2 years ago for some kids. And so I think they're going to be there. So I think it's going to be a pretty cool deal. If I can't do it, but if you guys are interested in staying on afterwards and organizing something, I'd be willing to stay on. So thanks for that, Angie. I think it's a great idea. And we do need to start doing a little bit more of that, getting together and getting out and doing things as a group. Okay, past president's report, Lori?
I have a report this morning. So Gary and I met with the Highland Elementary PTA at the playground. Let's see, what day was that? I don't even remember what day it was. But we took a nice big fat check with us for $14,500 and donated it for the improvements on the playground. The current playground is 20 years old. It looks 20 years old, and it is not very accessible for any children with mobility issues. So the new playground will have all that, and they plan on breaking ground in, I think they said in June or July. So very excited. Our money is going to work, and thank you for everybody who did so much to support that project. That's all I've got from past president report.
Did you get a photo?
We did.
Yeah.
I
had my photographer with me.
They're in the bulletin and it's on the website.
Thank you.
I can't wait to play on the playground equipment.
Yeah.
Me too.
That'll be awesome.
Me
I'll wipe it
too.
down first so I don't get COVID.
The merry-go-round especially.
Yeah, that's the one
I
I'll
think he's
avoid.
already on one of those.
Rochelle,
Yes, good morning.
you know that not having your camera on is going to result in monetary forfeiture a little bit later.
I will gladly pay.
All right, do you have a report?
Not really, just I finished up pets and am thinking about a board for next year. So we have an amazing board in place, but I'd love to see some new faces. So if there's anyone that has any interest in any of the positions, please let me know. It's super fun too.
It is super
And
fun.
there's wine and beer when we're allowed to be together, if that's of interest to anyone, and food.
That might be a good selling point.
It's why I joined.
My whole presidency has been through Zoom, and it has been interesting. And I'm really hoping that before the end of the year, in the 3 or so months that I have left, that we are able to get back together again. So either
too.
for a board meeting or for some sort of socially distanced regular meeting, or as the weather gets better, maybe we can get together for some for a fireside or something like that. Anyway, looking forward to kind of breaking out of this Zoom meeting hell that we're in. Although I love it. I love it.
Because you're safe.
It's just that I'm some folks I've never actually seen or met in person. You know, it's just crazy.
We'll make up for it next year.
Well, good.
We'll double down on the social firesides or whatever they call them.
Yeah. Okay, committee reports. Club services, Keith. Is he here?
I don't think so.
Still eating breakfast.
Yeah.
Well, his wife Elisa was in my class for 2 years at Marysville Pilchuck High School, and she was the star of the culinary class at the high school. So I know that she's a really good cook. So good for Keith. I'm surprised Keith isn't a little heavier than he is. Community services, Eileen.
Yes, I sent out this morning a reminder for the upcoming Interact Club road cleanup. Thank you to Kyle because he responded almost immediately. You were like, bam. So I appreciate that. And again, if anybody knows of anybody who needs services, support, whatever, please let me know so we can get something organized, and get it on the calendar. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Eileen. Ron, membership.
All good today. Nothing to report.
International, Tracy. We're going to get a
Yes.
big dose of international today, aren't we?
Yes, we do. Thank you again to Marty Peace for joining our meeting today. We're going to hear about her recent trip to Honduras and all the amazing things that are happening and that will happen, and how Lake Stevens is being a part of that. So very excited to hear from Marty. On a side note, just to let the club know, the Lake Stevens Rotary Club donated a dinner to Cocoon House last Friday. So it actually happened. Monroe Spirits and Pizza, they were awesome. She sounded really young on the phone, but she just was right on helping me got delivered, and it was a huge blessing to the staff. So good job, Lake Stevens. That's all, Ken. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy. And happy birthday again. Interact, Kristen.
Yes, if you are going to help with roadside cleanup, please get your name to Eileen so she can get it to me so I can get it to Jill, because that's very, streamlined that way. And we had a, a great meeting on Wednesday. We played a fun scavenger hunt game, and We got to see some of Jim's stuff that he has in Hawaii, so that was kind of fun. That's all there is to report.
Thanks, Kristen. Vocational services, Lance.
Well, the only thing that I will report is the scholarship apps are up. I've not received one back yet to make sure that everything, our electronic world, is working right. And I remembered from last week that I was going to send out those scholarship applications to the club, and I didn't do so. So I'm on Club Runner right now. I'll get that out hopefully before the end of the meeting. And then Rochelle, we have a contact at Snow Isle. So I will send you that contact if you want to reach out to them on the vocational side.
Sounds good.
And that's it.
Fantastic. Public relations, Rochelle, you got any public relations stuff to report?
Not really, but I'm going to snag that shot from the Highland check handover and put it on our Facebook page, of course. And then I'll throw it over on the community page and get it out there.
Super. And Hawaii Jim.
The foundations are doing well. The international one, and I think we've already made our budget. The other club foundation, some of the money that was used to pay the school playground equipment came from our foundation. So that was nice to help to add to that pool of money. So everything's good.
Thanks, Jim. Any other business today that anybody would like to chime in on, something that we didn't cover?
I'll give you a brief update. The city of Lake Stevens, we are looking at possibly adopting the skate park. And the county has decided that they are going to do the adopt a park instead of the city of Lake Stevens. So I've been in touch with a guy named Tony. I cannot pronounce his last name, but he's willing to come and do a presentation to Rotary about Snohomish County parks, and then at the end of it, he can talk about adopt a park and what the requirements are for us to do that if we are so inclined. And so I'll work with Don and get him on the schedule coming up.
I was really kind of disturbed to see the trash, and then how the skate park had actually kind of turned into a swimming pool there. I didn't know skating had water hazards, but that, do they pump that out, or they just wait for it to evaporate? Does anybody know?
It's got a drain in the bottom, and I know they put in an extensive drain field, but maybe with all the rain that we had, it did get backed up.
Oh, it was pretty impressive.
Problem too. It seems like that wouldn't be an issue unless the pump wasn't working.
Yeah, yeah.
Or there's crash blocking it.
I did go by the other day, and it was much cleaner than what Lance showed. And of course, every parking stall was taken up, and there was a ton of kids out there and families playing either on the playground equipment or skating.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
You know, I'd like to kind of remind everybody that, you know, we have that video for that I made last summer there, interviewing with one of the moms that likes to use that a lot. Yeah. And if we adopt that, maybe for a future program, a future upgrade or project, she said it would be really cool if there could be something like just a small set of bleachers where parents can sit. Huh. So they can kind of look out and see the whole park, so they can kind of keep an eye on their kid. Because right now they pretty much just have to stand, you know, in order to look around. So I think it's a great idea, and maybe one of these years we can get some funding for that or make that a project.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
That'd be a really good Eagle Scout project.
Ah.
Yeah.
And we have some young ladies in the troop that are reaching towards that.
Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. I guess I'll be the DJ texted me this morning, said he couldn't make it. So I guess I'll be the finer in chief. So I'll start with a typical DJ welcome this morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good
morning, DJ.
Good morning.
I don't have the main that DJ does, but anyway, yeah, there's
You need to start snoring.
Yeah.
Need a big
have dogs jumping on me here.
Yeah, dogs.
Anyway, there is a couple finds. I just kind of noticed a few things as we were getting rolling this morning. So first of all, anybody who doesn't have their camera on, I will give you the option to fine yourself. Because I know that everybody has, their own circumstances. I'm sure that Rochelle is sitting there with a cup of coffee and probably hasn't combed her hair yet. And that Cynthia's through the phone.
Can you see me?
Oh, everybody can see you in their mind.
Are you looking in the window?
You really should pay me not to turn on the camera in the window.
There it is, right there.
Well, there we go. How many people would pay $1 fine to not see Rochelle turn her camera on? And if nobody's willing to pay, then you got to turn your camera on.
I'll pay. I'm paying. I'm paying.
Okay.
I'm paying.
I will match whatever comes in.
Nobody raised their hand though.
Everybody raise your hand and I'll match it.
It was preemptive. I'd pay $1. All right.
I'll pay $1.
So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got at least 5. How many people would pay $1 to have Rochelle turn her camera on? Raise your hand. Okay, and keep them raised. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got 12. 13, excuse me, I didn't have everybody on my screen. So $13, Rochelle.
Okay, I'll pay 30 because I'm sure there's people that don't have their cameras on that would see it too. So I'll pay 30. My hand's raised.
Thanks, Christina. Good.
Hey, Rochelle, I'll match you the 30.
Nice.
Holy
you're awesome.
cow.
There you go.
Wow.
Who
Ken,
else
you're
wants to
gonna-
match us to not see me?
That's
Ken, you're gonna have
$72
to-
right there.
Ken, you got to report that back to DJ, how well you're doing here.
Yeah, I know. I've always resisted. Well, and here's the other find that I've got. I noticed, Jack Thornton, that you were kind of looking around for some stuff, but I just want to let you know your glasses are on your head. So I want the fine. It's $1 fine for misplacing your glasses. So thank you for that. And Dave Leduc, you came prepared for a birthday party today. It's either $1 fine or explain the Super Mario birthday walls behind you.
I have a son that turned 12 yesterday.
You were on the what?
I have a son who turned 12 yesterday.
Well, congratulations.
Wow. It's hard to
See,
believe
and
he's that old already.
This is an opportunity for Happy Bucks. How many people would like to donate $1 in honor of Dave's son turning 12? I'm in. Awesome.
I'm in.
Well, there you go. You're off the hook, Dave. Because any dad that goes out and gets Super Mario stuff and happy birthday stuff and puts it on the wall, that's awesome. I was not as good a father as you are. Lance, you were late with the scholarship applications. That's a fine. Jim, I just, got to point out that you're in your natural state, being in the dark.
Yeah, it is dark out here, but daylight savings time's coming in a few weeks, and
next week,
yeah, it's gonna be 3 hours difference. I don't know if I can do that. 5:30 is all right, but 4:30 that's a little stretch. So,
come home.
Yeah, we are trying to come home. They're gonna open it up here, I think, in 3 weeks for the 65 plus group, and then we'll get a shot and come home. So we're just waiting it out.
Well, when you come home, we'll have a homecoming party of
Yes.
some sort.
Yeah, well, when we get together, we can do something. We'd like to have a group of people over at the lake and have a little party sometime.
Yeah. Gary O'Reilly, where's O'Reilly?
Yes, I'm here.
Gary,
Yes.
I've got to find you, my friend, because you should be on the 12 days of St. Patrick's Day, and I don't see a shillelagh or a shamrock behind you at all.
Oh, I screwed up.
Ken, pretty good accent.
Well, you know, I am Irish.
Sure, he did come very well concerned with the Irish spokesman.
Do you come for the meeting or do you come for the crack, Gary? Aye.
Aye.
I've been to
It's too
Ireland
early for
3
leprechauns.
times. I've been to Ireland
Joyce,
need
3
more
times.
beer.
I'm trying to pick up the brogue every time I go.
Joyce, you gotta just jump right in.
I just wanted to say that I didn't think everybody wanted to watch me have breakfast, so that's fine. But I'll pay $10 for that. It was worth it.
Well, you could have jumped in for Keith and tell us what you did have for breakfast this morning, Joyce.
I had my usual of cereal and yogurt and blueberries and walnuts and bananas.
Yum.
Man, that is so healthy.
Yeah.
That is
That's healthy.
That is completely different than what Keith would report.
Yeah, I just decided that I had to have breakfast, so sorry about that.
No, good for you. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Okay, I'm done fining. Oh, wait a minute. Though there is one more fine now that I see him in the middle of my screen. Scott, have you got your new Bronco yet? Scott Smith, he's talking to somebody.
You're on mute, Scott.
He's talking
Oh, he's talking to somebody.
He has.
Scott, are you talking to us?
No.
No, he's not. All right. Well, he can't even hear us.
Probably ignoring us. I think that's a fine.
The fine is mounting. And he can't hear us. Okay. Well, I guess we'll move on to Happy Bucks, and I'll mute while people chime in on Happy Bucks.
Well, this might be a Happy Buck / preemptive fine because my new contract starts on Monday, which is good because I've been getting a little bored, but it might mean that I'm going to have to miss the next couple of meetings. So I don't know what that's going to look like yet. I'll still be available for questions about Zoom and online scholarships via email though, Lance and Gary. So don't worry about that. 7:30 in the morning, I might be busy.
I've got 5 Happy Bucks because we now officially have a date for our middle school, or North Lake Middle School students to return. The March 22nd, get these kids back in the classroom. Really, really excited about it for them.
Actually, I would like to give 5 Happy Bucks to Connor. Was it yesterday or whenever? I don't know what day it was. One of these days, I want to say it was last week, but he was on video camera with his cell phone, walking around the entire campus with all the 6th graders, showing them through the entire school, getting them prepared to come to school. So instead of just doing a video before, he actually walked around and answered all their questions, showed them all the way around the building, went to the gym and everything. So I mean, that was pretty awesome for these 6th graders that haven't been to campus yet. So yeah, $5 for that. And it might have been Tuesday actually. So
yeah,
I have a happy dollar.
Good, Tracy.
Thank you. I have a happy dollar. Thank you to Marty for coming in and speaking today. And another happy dollar. I love this club. This just puts me in a great mood every day. Take it away, Brett.
I'll do 5 happy dollars because I received a complaint at the mayor's office this week. And it was a good complaint to figure out a crosswalk at 99th and 15th place. And that's why I became the mayor. I like to try to make things happen. Met with the citizens. We'll see if we can't make that happen. So have 5 happy bucks for a complaint.
Wasn't it also a complaint that has motivated the new ramps at South Lake Stevens Road and Davies Road?
That came from was she 7 or 8 years old little girl who got on our city council meeting and jacked us up for not having a crosswalk there. So
started young.
Start them young. Great civics course there.
Any other happy bucks? Okay. Well, Marty, well, actually, I'll hand it over to Don, and you can introduce Marty. Go ahead, Don.
I'd be glad to unless Tracy wants to, but looks like she's good. So anyhow, Marty, thank you very much for being here again. And we're looking forward to your update. And I'm particularly interested in hearing about the school.
Cool. Well, welcome. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Marty.
Let me share. Alrighty. So yeah, so thanks for having me back again to give you the annual update on what happened and what's happening in the IPA. And I've been hesitant to offer them to clubs because I didn't think I had anything to say. And then I put together the list of changes that have happened in this last year. And it's pretty amazing what has happened even without the trip in February. So these are the topics that I'm going to cover today. So starting with Adopt a Village, we've added a new program. It came about because of Anacortes Noon. They wanted to be more involved in their village and with the schools. And so they wanted to find a way to do that. They wanted a more personal connection. So we created Adopt a Village. There's 3 components to it. Adopt a School, part of it, which is what you guys are doing with the Rio Amarillo, paying for the preliminary students, the primary students, their supplies and stuff, contributing to the Student Health Fund based on the number of students and the mobile library. It's guaranteeing $1,000 a year for Adopt a Dream, which is for the middle school and high school students sponsorships. And then committing $1,000 a year for construction projects for the village as needed. There may be years where that's not needed. And in the years that it is, and if it's over 1,000, the sponsor can either contribute more or the IPA will make up the difference. This program has surprised us on how it's only been a few months. We already have had 10 villages adopted, both by clubs and individuals. So we're really excited about that. The other thing we're excited about is our large global grant. We got $93,000 to start phase 3 for our rapid development program. So our rapid development program is where we help bring villages out of poverty through teaching them how to run a savings and loan, microfinancing, business planning, business management training, cultural issues. We have an agricultural firm that teaches them different agricultural techniques and use of different crops, getting home gardens started and things like this. In phase 1 and 2, we've had 5 villages and it's been really successful. So we're really excited to have 6 villages added with this grant. Cynthia Santos is the in-country contractor who runs the program. And she's met with the community leaders to get it started, but she can't really start the community training because of restrictions for COVID and the amount of people that can be gathered in one place. She does feel like she can go ahead and get the savings and loans started just because it doesn't take as many people, and she may already be doing so. And then we delivered the school supplies to these 6 villages in February. And then we have district grants where we're doing water projects in 3 of these 6 villages. So we're really excited to get this going and to get some recognition from Rotary International support for it. And then the hurricanes. So Peter and I are the ones that made the trip in February. And I apologize, my animals decided now was the time to be playful and excited. So if you hear background noise, I don't know how to stop them. But anyway, so we were going to go in November, and we were literally going to fly when the hurricanes hit. You two stop. And so we weren't able to go. I'm really glad we didn't go. We would have been stuck there for a very long time. But the hurricanes, they had 2 Category 4 hurricanes that hit within a 2-week span, and it did devastating damage. So we had very generous donators. We've raised $31,000 for relief. With that money, restored water supply to 16 villages. We're building, starting to build a heavily used footbridge that was taken out and rebuilding a kindergarten. So this is a panoramic view, so it's a little stretched out, you know, but this is the river. So this is the little innocent little stream at the moment. And so the whole time I was there, I was just trying to visualize the power of water. And so the other thing that happened was not only the hurricanes, but they had a lot of rain before. So the ground was saturated and the water had nowhere to go. So just imagining this full with water and roaring through here. This big tree across here wasn't there before. It's just, and scenes like this all over the place. So the line across the top here is a pipe, a water pipeline, and you can't really see it very well, but over here is what's left of the footbridge. So, and the structure on the left, the start of the bridge survived. The rest of the one on the right is over here. And so we're gonna build a new one higher up off the edge of the bank. So this is looking up at where we're gonna put the new one from the riverbed. And this is Peter. Peter Martin is the president of the IPA and the founder. And he is talking with the mason who's designing the bridge and gonna build it for us. And this is Harrison, one of our drivers. He's a really nice guy. He's also a gifted Mayan carver. Anyway, he's on that big log. So it just gives you a sense of how powerful that water was through there. And then the other project we're doing is the El Sharon water project. So this tank, it's not an error in my photo. The tank is on a tilt. And Mauricio took me up there. Mauricio's our in-country contractor that oversees construction. It's all grown back in 3 months, but the landslide came down from the left and undercut the tank. So there's really, it just took the soil out and the tank is on a tilt. There's nothing underneath it. There's no way to right the tank up. And with it tilted, it only holds half the water. So we're building a new tank on another hillside and repiping it. And in the meantime, have put in temporary pipes to make sure the villagers have water. And then this is the kindergarten. So Adobe doesn't do well with water. And on the left side of the building, there's a slope. The landslide slid out and then water just gushed and took out this wall. So what we're gonna do in the back here is use the existing walls and make a storage room and then take everything else down up in here and rebuild the kindergarten. So that's what we're doing with the hurricane relief money. And then Adopt a Dream. Some of you have adopted students for which we're very grateful. After our trip in February, we have a more accurate count for this year. We have 490 middle school and high school kids. We have decided to limit it to 500 in order to sustain this program. This is one area where we continue to struggle to find sponsors. So in middle school, we have 350 students. It costs $180 a year per student. High school, 140. It's $280 per year per student. We have 290 sponsors, which leaves 200 kids. And what has been happening over the years is we make up for that with other funds, which takes away from other projects. So if you can think of any way to help us out here, that would be awesome. About 3 years ago, I'm really into the IPA. It excites me, so I talk a lot about it to my friends and family. And about 3 years ago, I reached out to them and came up with about 8 sponsors outside of Rotary. And about 3/4 of them are still sponsoring their students. So if we can reach beyond, I think we're gonna have to reach beyond Rotary to find enough sponsors for this program. I'm really excited that we have 25 kids in the university program when you think 3-4 years ago we had none. And what I mean by privately sponsored versus IPA, like I have 2 students that I knew they didn't have any money. They needed to go to college because they're so bright. So I approached them and said, I will pay for your college. And then I have 1 student that I'm sponsoring that came through the IPA. So that's kind of what we mean by that. The tuitions vary. Most sponsors pay the full fare, which could be anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 a year. We also have a college fund where people can donate like $100 and then it gets distributed to the students. We are working on moving the database from Excel to Access, which is going to happen very quickly, which will really help Mike Griffin, he's from San Juan Club, who is the head of the Adopt a Dream, will really help him manage the data and the students and connect sponsors, etc. We are starting a laptop computer program for university students. They sign a contract that they are to maintain a computer, put down a deposit of $40. They're responsible for their internet. And when they finish school, the computer is theirs. If they don't finish school, they are expected to return it. And so this is putting our toes in the water. We may expand it to high school students, but we want to first see how this goes. And then the trip in February. So that was the first trip that an IPA representative could go in a year. Usually Peter goes down 4 times a year. We were really grateful that we could go. We focused on delivering school supplies for 2,300 students, and we were verifying middle school and high school students, and also reconnecting with students and friends. And Cynthia and Mauricio are our 2 in-country contractors, and they're just such wonderful people and hard workers. And they honestly could have done this. They didn't need us there, but I think there's this really positive thing to have the face behind the money, and it shows that we're committed to what we're doing. In Copan, Ruanas, the town we stay in, which relies on tourism, there were very few tourists. I saw one group of Americans, a couple couples that weren't Hondurans, and went to the ruins, and the plazas, 4 football fields large, there was literally nobody in it. So tourism, that Copan itself is kind of hurting. Well, the IPA's plan is to resume trips again every 3 months. The next one will be in May sometime, and then August. It sounds like Kristen might be interested in the August trip. So, so this is Cynthia and Mauricio. These guys are just what has kept the program alive for a year without us being able to go there. And then these pictures I put in just to show the connections. So the one on the right is me with my student Danya, who I'm putting through bilingual school. And then the one in the middle is Peter. He's supporting these 3 kids in the local orphanage. And the bottom left, the student's name is Mackenzie. Peter's putting her through high school. And on the upper left, Sarah Hernandez, the one on the right, is the student that started the whole IPA program. Peter went to visit a Mayan ruin, and Sarah asked if she could walk with him. And that's how the whole thing got started. So we were really grateful on this trip to be able to have time to hang with these students and get to know them a little better. And then we did do some work with delivering school supplies. So on the upper left here, there were 3 villages that we couldn't get to because of the landslides hadn't been cleared. So we're literally delivering the school supplies on the side of the road to the teacher and to the students. To the bottom left, the first day we were delivering school supplies to high school principals in town. And the middle picture is Mauricio going through, getting some supplies out. This is the back of the pickup truck. And then the one on the right, middle school student helping us carry up textbooks. So you guys very kindly are in the Adopt a School program as a club. You've adopted Ree Amarillo. And it has 26 students. There's no students in this picture because we asked that students not come for our safety's sake due to COVID. But this particular school has a little special place in my heart. I visited every time I've been. This is my 5th trip with the IPA, been twice with the YES program. And my first trip in November of 2016, we went to the school, and the kids were leery, the teacher was leery. NGOs come, they make promises, they don't deliver, they come, they do something, they disappear. It's very rare that they do what we are doing, which is to have a consistent face there. And so they were just leery. They were just like, I'm not so sure. And then the next year, they were excited to see us. They were welcoming. They were playing games. They were like, oh, it's you guys again. And it was just so wonderful to see that they were beginning to trust us. And then the other thing that's other interesting thing about the school, and I can't really give you a time frame. So the government built the school buildings 25, 30 years ago in the villages, and then the village decided to move. And I think it was pretty close to that first trip in 2016, because there was some debate whether they continue to use the school building, which they have been. So the kids have to walk a short distance to school. Why they moved the village, I have no idea. And then the other interesting thing is so the picture, the third one in, is of the latrines. These are brand new. These are built within the last year. On the back side here is a stream. And the first few visits, the kids that I saw, the kids were using basically outhouses that were actually really not even usable in that. And the kids were hauling buckets of water up from the stream to fill the pila, which is a storage tank, a storage sink. So within the last year, we were able to engineer getting water to the latrines and getting permission from the landowner to cross this land to get the water to the school. So they now have operating flushing toilets, which is just, it took 3 or 4 years for that to happen. So that's just very cool. So the picture on the left is the teacher, and the woman is a Rotarian from Honduras. This is the school building. The one on the right is, this one here is of the latrines, and the one on the right is the classroom itself. So thank you very much for sponsoring this school. This is the footbridge. So the kids were wading across the stream to get to school, which is fine when it looks like this, but when it's monsoon season, they were wading up to their waist to get to the school. The school is over here. So we built, this is our first suspension footbridge, and it survived the storms, which we were really actually quite proud of. We were afraid it, because we literally just did it last year, that it would get wiped out. So, and our next suspension bridge will be that one I was discussing earlier. So I'm gonna unshare for just a second so I can switch mediums. So can you, and then I need to, hang on, sorry, I'm talking to myself a little bit. I have to share screen. Oh shoot, hang on. Sorry, I thought I had this down. Okay, now. Can you see that? Can you see the video, the picture?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So these are what the roads are like. I love riding in the back of the truck. It's one of the reasons I like to ride the path. I love riding the path. This, you can see it's not smooth. The scenery is gorgeous. This is what it's like to get there. This different village. So it's quite the ride. And then the other thing I wanted to share, this is about a 1.5-minute slideshow, and I'm not even going to narrate it. It's just fun pictures. It's really nothing to do with the IPA. It is to encourage you to go.
Zip lining.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I think I've got to can you see the picture now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool. So let's see if I can get back. Okay, so now you see the COVID. Perfect. Okay, so COVID, we had to have a negative COVID test to go and to come home. We lucked out. There was a lab right next to the hotel that did COVID tests, and we were able to get a result within an hour. We were told that Hondurans were not respecting COVID whatsoever, not taking any precautions. That was not our experience. People wore masks regularly. Hand sanitizer was everywhere. Social distancing was sort of respected. People would do fist pumps versus hugs, and then we ended up hugging anyway. Many of the villages haven't had any cases, so we were probably more concerning to them than we needed to be about going there. Much discussion among the Hondurans about getting vaccines. They really feel it's going to be a very long time if and when they ever get them. So in this picture, so we went to the schools. We did ask the teachers not to have the primary kids come. They usually do a little show and feed us, and we asked for none of that to minimize our interaction. We did need to meet with the middle school and high school kids. So this is an El Zapote, and the main reason I have it is just to show the use of masks. I brought 100 with me, expecting to have to hand them out. I had 75 left when I came, and I used most of the 25. So. But really felt no more risky than here to go, COVID wise. More pictures of the hurricane. So we ran into a road grader fixing a road. This picture in the middle is a landslide. Like I said, the land got soaked. And this is like a football field long, a steep slope where it just took the hillside right out. Obviously, this house is no longer inhabitable. And this bridge is on the way to one of the villages we go to, and the bridge itself survived. What's missing is the road got taken out. So eventually they'll fill that in. And this bridge got taken out 2 or 3 years ago with a tropical storm. So the hurricane damage was pretty evident anywhere we went. As far as other changes, I'm calling it revised management. Succession planning is another word. The concern is that Peter is the president and is really good about recording things, but it's in his head. So what would happen to the IPA if something happened to Peter? So we created a director of operations, who is Walt Gutterbrock out of Fidalgo, and myself for marketing. And the three of us kind of form a management team. We're trying to cross-train everybody so that if something happened to one of us, the other two could take over and keep it running. And then we have multiple team leaders who've been really active. The website, newsletter, heading the rapid development, Adopt a School, Adopt a Dream, Adopt a Village, water, construction, education, and people have really been very active. And so Peter has said a couple times he feels like if something were to happen to him, the IPA would continue. So that happened within the last year. And then we've also been pushing the website has been renovated, and it looks really slick if you ever want to go on it and just take a look. We've started putting out newsletters monthly, sometimes a little more frequently than that. You can sign up for that. We got a blog, different donation options on there. Catherine Reardon from Bellingham has been doing articles for Peace Arch Journal on a monthly basis. And then also, I honestly didn't even know the Zone had a newsletter, but we've been putting publications in there. The Facebook page is much more active. So if you go to the IPA Foundation, you could also look at posts for our visit there. But we are posting every couple of weeks. And then we want to get more active on the District 5050 Facebook page. And the two goals are, one is to get more clubs involved, and then also find some other donors. This year's district grants, we have 2 for water projects and 3 of those 6 rapid development villages. We've built our process of building a middle school in La Moya, so furnishing it. And then Casita Copan, Casita Copan is an orphanage in Copan. They have 16 orphans, but they also do a daycare for single moms for about 50 kids a day. And with COVID, the moms were unemployed. So Casita Copan decided they have a fair amount of land to start micro businesses on their property and teach the women how to run a business. Like one woman in particular, she knows how to cook, but she doesn't know how to run a restaurant. So teaching them how to do budgets, how to manage people, how to plan, these kinds of things. Laundry services is another example. So the district grant was to buy equipment to support these micro businesses. I just think it's a cool concept. This is the list of current clubs. And then, are there any questions? This is my contact information. Adopt a Dream, Mike Griffin is the head. That's his email. If anybody's interested in sponsoring a student or anybody else, you guys have already done a good job on that. Any questions?
Marty, I have a question. For the school project, the new latrines, is there a septic system on the property? Was one installed as part of that, or?
Usually what they do, they have 2 septic tanks and fill one, let it sit. It usually takes a few years to fill it, let it sit and do its thing, and use the second one and go back and forth between the 2.
Gotcha.
Every few years switch is usually how they're set up. I don't know if that particular one is, but I'm assuming so.
Was that put in as part of the project, or was already there? Or?
No, we built it. IPA put that in within the last year. It was not there the last time I visited that school. So no, we did that.
Little footbridge project there, was that a water line going across underneath the bridge? Kind of showed up in the photo?
I think it was just a cable, but it could have been a water line. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember. It could have been water, but my bet is it's just one of the cables underneath it. And a lot of debris got caught up in it from the water brushing by in the hurricane. So it made it more obvious. I don't believe there's a water pipe there, but there could be. Any other questions?
Say if somebody did want to go, can you give an idea of how much it would cost, like airfare and lodging?
Sure. So airfare is the most expensive part. It's $1,000 for a coach. And then first class is anywhere from $1,300 to $1,400, which we often do because it's more comfortable, not that much more expensive, and we can take, you don't have to pay. We take a lot of stuff. And then once you're there, it's pretty inexpensive. It's $50 a night for the hotel, and things there are not very expensive. It might cost you $700 including the hotel for the whole week. So it might be $2,000 total, somewhere in that ballpark.
How well does it work for non-Spanish speakers?
Oh, we always have translators, not an issue. Okay. And myself being one, I've been teaching myself Spanish on Duolingo over the last year, and it was much more fun, honestly, to be able to talk a little bit. But I've been going without having any Spanish. We always have translators, so it's not.
What time of the year do you typically go down there?
What time do the trips are usually May, August, November, and February. The usual bigger trips are November, when we go visit all the schools and close them down for the year, and then February when we go deliver supplies to open them up for the year. And those are usually bigger trips. Those are usually 8 to 10 people go. The May and August trips are often quite small, although this May trip may be like 5 people going. I think they were waiting for us to see that we survived COVID-wise, just testing the waters. And now people are like, okay, they survived, we can go. Anyway.
Hey, Marty, what airport do you fly into?
San Pedro Sula.
Okay.
And it's about a 4-hour drive to Copan from there. We arrange transportation. Any other questions?
I have one. Do you take all the school supplies down, or do you take some and then have local resources for some? And what are the school supplies that you're supplying?
We buy locally, but usually it's much cheaper. We also feel we should support the local economy. The only thing we take down from here is batteries. Are much cheaper here. So we have one student who has hearing aids, so we always take a year's supply of batteries to him. Everything else we buy in country. What we buy depends on the grade level. So kindergarten kids might get a couple pencils, a sharpener, some little scissors, a small notebook, things. I'm visualizing the packages. And then the primary school kids might get 3 or 4 notebooks. They get more pens and pencils and not protractors, but those triangle things, a kit of geometric things. I can't remember what you call it, sorry. And the middle school kids get a notebook per class. So they get about 10 notebooks. They get textbooks themselves, and much more pens and much more supplies in that line. So does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you. I'm just wondering if you need money or supplies. And it sounds like really it's money.
Money, and that's through the Adopt a School. So you guys, that's what the Adopt a School is about. So when you're supporting Rio Amarillo, the money you pay every year goes to buying the school supplies for the students. So yeah, we don't take school supply. We do take calculators. The 8th graders get calculators. We do take those down.
Hey, Rochelle, we put a box truck together. It's only 69-hour drive.
Yeah.
I'm in.
through interesting territory. Mexico, Guatemala. Yeah.
Fun.
Well, Brett will be our armed guard then.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, Marty, I just want to echo what Rochelle put in the chat. We just love your updates and love to learn about what's going on in Copan. And we love to keep having you come back and giving us updates, because this is really something that we're very interested in.
Well, very good. Thank you. And I think it, yes. And I love giving them.
Yeah, and on your behalf, we'll make a donation, $25 donation to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library for being our speaker today, and just really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Very much.
Yeah, thanks, Marty.
Bye, Marty.
Bye, guys.
Marty.
Okay, I'm going to close the meeting, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Ken.
Yep. Angie, it doesn't look like anybody wanted to stay on. And then she left.
And she left.
All right. Well, have a good weekend, James.
Thank you, sir. You too.